Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Dawnbringers, The Forge of Fury, Season 2, Episode 9, Delving Deeper. This is our regular Thursday night campaign taking place every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch, where the six of us get together, and we have the Season 1 and now Season 2 are both adventures out of Tales from the Yawning Portal for D&D 5th Edition, with some twists and elements of my own thrown in there. And it's just what started as what we thought would be about 5 episodes of a so-called mini campaign. We are now approaching, this is actually technically episode 21 of when you factor in both seasons. So that's really exciting. We've been playing since, I think we started last summer. I don't remember when we started, but we love this game. We love our Thursday nights, and we love that so many of you choose to spend your Thursday nights with us as we play Dungeons and Dragons. So, real quick, couple of announcements. First off, we're coming up real close. Only 5 days remain in the sprint to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. YouTube.com/Mini Terrain Domain. If you look in the chat right now, there is a link for the giveaway where 3 lucky winners will receive Game Master's bundles. 2 winners, well, actually, all 3 of them will receive the D&D 5th Edition starter set, the Icons of the Realm starter set, pre-painted miniatures that match the pre-gens in the starter set, 6 complete sets of dice, and 1 lucky winner will get all of that, plus a Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Dungeon Master Screen Revisited. I will be doing the drawing on my birthday, April 16th, sometime during the day, and then I will announce the winners on Twitter, and I will also announce them in the following stream, which will be this one, actually. So next week, 1 week from now, I will announce who that winner was. So if you click the link, get your entries in, it could be you. All right, quick shout out to Everjay. Thank you, Jason, for starting these guys off with the domain dice gift of 500 bits. Let's see, you guys are at let's see. Boom, there we go. I had to remember, I programmed all these buttons and I couldn't remember how they worked. Each stream works slightly different. All right, so speaking of domain dice, all you have to do is cheer 500 bits or a donation of $5. Subscriptions, resubscriptions, raids, and those sort of things also go towards domain dice, as you see up above my head here. And what those domain dice do is explained in the crawl down at the bottom. The players can, and most certainly do, use those to force me to re-roll my D20. If I roll a crit against them, they're usually going to spend 2 domain dice. If they roll poorly, they might choose to spend a domain dice to re-roll. And there's other things they can do all the way up to the Patron's Blessing, Super Crit, Max Damage ×2, and Quinian, Basie, dropping another 1,000 bits to make sure you guys have no shortage of domain dice. So let's see, that's going to put you up to, there's one of them. Oh, let's see, you know what? I think I'm just going to take all of these away. And I'm going to take this one away too. But then we'll put you up here. First time, I think this is actually the second time we're using the plus 50. The second time ever you guys have gotten over 50 domain dice. So don't be shy about using those domain dice. One last thing. Because we have a lot of things that are covered during the 10-minute break, if I remember to take the 10-minute break. During the 10-minute break, there's a lot of advertisements and things that will go on. But I want to tell you for just a quick moment about Jasper's Game Day. Mini Terrain Domain is a proud partner with Jasper's Game Day, which is an organization that is in association with the American Association of Suicidology, and numerous other organizations they are partnered with. It was founded by a young woman located in my home state, not far away from here. And at the young age of 16, she lost her gaming partner in crime to suicide, and actually lost a couple of friends within the span of just a couple of months. And along with her mentor, Satine Phoenix, the young woman's name is Fenway Jones. Fenway the Teen DM. Look her up on Twitter, give her a follow. Along with her mentor, Satine Phoenix, they conceived of and created Jasper's Game Day, and have since, this will be the second year that the flagship event is being held, but already this year there are multiple gaming events being held around the country, gaming stores out in California and Seattle and Indiana and Michigan, with all of the money going not to Jasper's Game Day, but working with their partners to redirect that money into the communities where those events are happening. And so the flagship event in Heartland, Michigan is on May 10th at Zeeg Games. And I believe it's sold out already. But I will be there running a showcase event, My Tomb of the Mummy Lord. And then starting the next day for 5 days, right here on Mini Terrain Domain, we will be running Jasper's Game Week, a 5-day, 40-hour charity streaming event in which there will be many people playing. There are, I promise that next week I will have the links, and if you go to my Twitter, you'll soon see them. Each day, each of the 5 days, we have a flagship event in which, for example, on one day we have Web DM. Jim will be DMing a game, and Pruitt is going to be playing in that game, and a couple other people. And guess what? You could also have a seat in one of those flagship games. We have links for Tiltify where you can just buy for $5. You can buy a raffle ticket, and we will be drawing raffles to see who gets to play alongside those players and DMs in each of the flagship games each day. And again, all of that money is going for the overall thing. But guess what? We're not just going to be playing games. We've partnered with Initiative Coffee Company, Dogmite Games, Wormwood, Wizards of the Coast, D&D Beyond, and many, many others to bring you all kinds of awesome swag that we will both be giving away during the stream. We'll be giving away things almost hourly in the chat. In between games, we will be having raffles, and we have some big ticket items that I wish I could tell you what this one item is. And you're going to have to stay really close to the MTD Twitter to see what it is. It's going to go up for auction, and it's a really cool thing. So stay tuned for more information on that. In the meantime, Jasper's Game Day, head down right now on Twitch. There is a special information button with this logo on it, Jasper's Game Day, that'll take you right to their website, and you can see all kinds of great information. But I promise by next week I will have the in the chat, I'll have a chat command so that I can just hit the button, and all those links for all the raffles and everything will go up. And sorry, for the next month, every week you're going to hear me talking about Jasper's Game Day before every game, because it is incredibly important. So I take back my apology. I don't apologize for that. It's just a thing that's going to happen. But now the announcements are out of the way. It's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. Which of the 5 of you would like to recap last week's game for a point of inspiration? Or, if I do it, I take a point of inspiration.
Come on, guys. I do it all the time.
I'll give it a whirl, but
remember, cold meds are in my system, so it's a little foggy.
That's fine. Hey, in All That Glitters, I always do the recap from Six's point of view. So, and it's only what he was important to him. So, we
started off first in the one room where we had just killed off the initial Durger. I always say it funny.
Durger.
And I think we rested a little bit. And in that resting, Griveth got in his head to stab a door. Turned out there was someone behind the door because we had Talmud heard something. He signaled to Griveth. Griveth decided to right through the door and almost killed him off. But Talmud took care of it with a quick spear to the who knows, but basically dead body. Then we had at one point Fig found a cockroach, turned it into gold, gave it to Griveth so that Griveth could be paid for his services in fighting. So Griveth put that down his armor. Keep that in mind. I think once we finished up with that first room, we then went over following the sounds of the anvil. We went into the next zone and there were not one, not two, but three of the Durger. And at first they were blissfully, unknowingly hammering away at whatever it is they're working on. A sword, right? A sword.
Mm-hmm.
And Griveth and Cantriel start fighting, which, kind of caught attention. And we ended up, four of us ended up fighting the three Durger while Fig made friends with a rat. So as we successfully managed to land blows and the Durger started falling one by one, a couple of them went into the river and got carried away. Griveth at one point decided he was going to try and smush the rat, but he couldn't smush the rat. That didn't happen. Finally, the last one got killed off. Cockroach came back to life. That was fun. Got smushed by Talmud hitting against Griveth's armor. And I think at the very end, Cantriel heard her mother's voice again, only this time everyone else heard it too.
You missed the point where Fig got blinded and cast magic missile.
There we go. At you. Yes. So, see, I mean, that part I was a little foggy.
Griveth is all kinds of upset that
That's right. Griveth is now calling it the toy again. Poor Fig.
All right. Very good. Take a point of inspiration for that recap. And yes, once again, Cantriel, who has periodically, since entering this Stone Tooth Mountain in the Dwarven regions beyond or below, she has periodically heard her mother, who disappeared so many years ago. She's heard her mother's voice calling to her in her mind. And this last time, after fighting off the Durger and killing them, she heard her mother's voice once more, as did everybody else, and she said, "You are so close, but be careful, for the night has wings." And weary from their journeys thus far through this complex of dwarven halls and rooms and such, they tire. Spell slots are depleted. Life force depleted. Tempers are flaring off and on. They just realize they can't go on any further. Realizing that this foundry room appears to be pretty defensible, they decide to hole up here and chance a long rest. We join everyone at the end of this long rest, where normally I do this at the end of the session, but I kind of forgot last week. They have leveled up. They are all now level 6. I'll have to remember to update your bios. But the first thing I would like you guys to do is, of course, you're going to get all your spell slots back. You're going to get all your hit points back. But go ahead and roll your hit dice to determine your hit points. And because this came up beforehand, you either get a choice to roll or take the average plus your con modifier. But if you roll a 1 on your hit die, I will allow you to re-roll it. So,
because that's what I got.
you got a 1.
I got an 8.
Is that total or that what you rolled?
That's what I rolled.
Nice. So how many new hit points do you get?
10.
Nice.
I am always afraid to gamble on rolling, so I take the average.
So how many hit points are you getting?
I get 7.
I got a 6. Without mods.
How are you getting 7 hit points?
Me?
Yeah. Oh, because average.
Because I am not.
You said average, and in my mind, I was thinking max.
No, I am not going barbarian. So, yes, the average of a D8 is
okay. And then, what'd you get, Griveth? Right off the bat, he's muted.
Sorry, I was in my character sheet. I rolled a 6.
All right. And how about you, Fig?
Rolled a 2. So, for a total of 5 hit points.
All right. So, the 8 hours has come to an end, and you have managed to. You have sort of your own natural white noise machine with this rushing water that cuts through here. And in the time you've been resting here, nothing has disturbed you. You also haven't been able to hear if anything is happening on the other side of the double doors that enter into this part of the foundry, but nothing has come in to disturb you. As you are all beginning to stir and either wake up or come out of trances or meditation or whatever it may be, we're going to go around and just take a couple moments and tell us what has been going through your mind during this restful period in light of what has happened and what is to come. And we're going to start with Cantriel.
Oh, of course. Well, Cantriel has a couple extra hours on everyone because for her it's a 4-hour reboot. So during her more wakefulness, she's kind of been just sort of wandering up and down the stream edge, just thinking about how she's been hearing her mother's voice so much. And she's really been pondering the whole wishing she had a means to speak with her family that she's pretty much assumed are dead at this point. And as a result, it's almost like she's just gotten this drive to be able to have this ability. And in her leveling up, I gave her Speak with Dead.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about Talmud?
I think Talmud has probably been wandering around the forge a little before settling in for the night, and he ends up finding a set of like tongs that you'd use to pull ingots and such out of the forge itself, and they're made almost exactly like a pair that his granda used. And so it kind of takes him back to growing up with his clan and a lot of the strength that comes from familial ties and the like. And he's just been contemplating on that recently. He, as a Path of the Ancestor barbarian, got Spirit Shield, which will allow me to reduce some of the damage that a friend might end up taking nearby.
All right. What about Thorgarn?
So Thorgarn, has pretty much ever vigilant in his morning prayers. It is something that, even though he never really got, anointed or accepted into, the proper faith, he still observes. And, he wakes up and, he lays out, the couple of things. And this morning he actually takes out that tile that he found, and others might not see it, but in the cracks on the one side it looks like there's a hammer hitting in an anvil. and he puts that in front of him, and he keeps looking over his shoulder as he's trying to go through, um, this ritual, and eventually he, stands up and he walks over to the forge that one of the Dorgar was, smithing on, and he decides that he's going to put the tile on the forge and pray there. And after 10 minutes or so, the tile begins to glow just a little bit, and as he reaches out and touches it, the glow encompasses Thorgarn, and just this like wash of calm and exhilaration takes him over as he finally becomes a cleric. So he is now first level cleric of the Forge, worshiping Morden as he has been doing so since the beginning. And with the Forge domain, I actually get the ability to imbue an item with magic. So I will take my war pick, and it's now as a +1 weapon.
Excellent. You are enlightened by the celestial beard of your deity. What about Fig, whose eyesight did eventually return very shortly after the defeat of the Duergar?
So, before the group decided to, or I guess during, just after the group decided that they were going to take a long rest, Fig would have began to take these pieces of pebbles that are this strange turquoise color that no one would know where he got them from, but he would start placing them in a large circle around himself. And then he would go right into the middle of the circle and raise the last pebble right high above his head. And you would see the pebble in his hand begin to glow, and all of a sudden this little hut almost would extend from the center of the pebble and meet and match each of the pebbles in a circle to create this little housing almost thing. And he would invite anyone who wanted to in, and he's essentially casting a tiny hut.
Nice.
So if anyone wants to come in and have a relatively safe fur hideaway, then he would welcome anyone in. But during the long rest, he would be looking through his book, this large book that you've seen him take out many times, and he's taking it out and he's looking through it, and then he sits back and he takes, I imagine this almost as like when everyone's asleep because he doesn't need to sleep, so he takes this little tuft of what looks to be brown fur and he places it out in front of him, and he also takes a part of himself and he places that in front of him. It's just like this little gear or cog, and he places that in front of them, and he's looking at the book like almost like he's reading a recipe. And he takes, and automatically and almost instantly this little vial pops out of his arm, and he takes it and he puts 2 drops onto the fur, and it begins to glow and get bigger, and there's this little rat that forms, and he holds the rat up and he's looking at this rat, and he kind of whispers, "You are my brown Na, and I am your fig. You are mine now." And he would kind of touch like the rat really closely and just kind of pet it, feeding it little bits of food.
Megan, I would like you to roll a D100. And I'm not going to tell you what the percentage is yet.
Okay. Hello.
I have rolled a D100, setting the baseline.
I got a 65.
The percentage of a thing happening was 10%, which means 5% in either direction of the number I rolled. And this thing will happen. The number I rolled, I've just remembered I have a dice cam so you guys can actually see this. I used the friendship and magic dice and rolled a 64.
Uh-oh.
Not only have you summoned this familiar, but it is Brown Gnaw.
Oh, that's so cool.
You've actually summoned the rat you had previously befriended that was the familiar of the Duragur that you killed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because of the relationship you formed with it during that battle, I decided there was a 10% chance that you would actually summon the Brown Gnaw. And you got it by literally one percentage.
Yes.
So it is the Brown Gnaw. And finally, Griveth.
All right. So Cantriel notices that Griveth is sleeping fairly well, and we move into his brain. We move into his dreams, and he's in the crystal cavern, the cavern where he went to commune with his goddess. He's in his crystal cavern. He's got his little loincloth off. His oiled body is being covered by, the water, the crystal clear water. And as he's feeling this power flow over him and down him, he hears this sweet song coming from outside the cave. And he wanders through the little stream that leads out to the front of the cave. And there, at the front of the cave, the tree that he has planted has grown to a full-grown, beautiful tree that is sparkling in the sunlight as the sunlight goes through the leaves of the tree. It's sparkling. And suddenly, out from behind the tree steps Cantriel. And she's in this white dress, strumming her song, this beautiful song, drawing Griveth out of his cavern. He comes over to Cantriel, and he says, I have planted this tree for you, and I have done this for you. I wanted to do this for you. I wanted to do something special for you. And then suddenly Cantriel smiles as she hears her mother's voice channeling through the leaves of the tree. The tree is swaying, the leaves are moving, and her mother's voice and her mother's song is kind of swirling around the both of us, right? And at that point, Griveth says, I have called on my goddess. She will protect us. She will protect you. So stay near me. Stay near me, and I shall protect you always. And kind of what he's referring to is, now I have this ability that if anybody's within 10 feet of me, they get +3 to their saving throw. So that's mechanically, that's what he's talking about. So anyways, he's telling her that she should stay near him for this, so he can protect her. And then suddenly the sky goes dark. Okay, clouds are rolling in, dark clouds. Cantriel kind of almost moves back, almost blends into the tree, like moves back behind the tree. It just kind of disappears, right? And Griveth is like, panicked. I was like, where did she go? And the tree is bending and moving. The tree is bending and moving as the wind is blowing it. And suddenly I hear, and I look up, and there's an enormous humanoid form, and it is highlighted by sudden flash of lightning, and it is Fig looking down on me. And suddenly Fig's belly like flips open like a potbelly stove, and this large creature scurries down her leg, running towards me. Somehow it gets in my armor and is scurrying up, and it's this enormous rat that's clawing and tearing at me as it goes up. At that point, Cantriel, doing her meditation, hears me, like in my sleep, like kind of thrashing around in my sleep. And then I smell this stench. This rat is not only clawing my guts out, it's imbuing me with some kind of stench. And I'm like, I'll never be pure again. And suddenly I wake up in like this cold sweat. It's like, oh, what a horrible nightmare. Okay.
Cantriel, unbeknownst to you, as you do not have the ability to see inside another's dreams, nor do I imagine you would deliberately peer inside Griveth's head, but at the same time Griveth is dreaming of this tree and you coming out from behind it. In your meditations, in your dreams, you see a vision of a cave filled with murky, cloudy crystals. A fog rolls through the cave. A figure lingers, always at the edge of your vision. A tree, wicked and gnarled, looking like the Gothias tree from the Sunless Citadel, grows in this cave. Ever present is the stench of death. Looking up at the tree, you see 4 elven figures hanging from nooses. Your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. But even as you see these elven corpses hanging, they seem to sway from the tree branches, almost creating ghostly trails, as if a version of them hangs from this tree, but another version of them is spectral and doesn't quite adhere to this vision. You blink, and your father, your brother, and your sister's forms are gone. And only your mother's is there, hanging from the Gothias tree. And you hear the words of your mother, mingled with a deeper, distorted version of a Griveth's voice, saying, "Cantriel, stay near me. I will protect you." And you wake up. All of you are now awake and ready to continue on. What would you like to do now? As a reminder, for you and for our viewers, you are in this lower section of the map here. One of the bridges, the leftmost bridge, is broken, actually. Was broken by the Durager shatter spell. And you've chosen to set yourselves up in here as a defensible position, the only known easy entry being the double doors. In your investigations prior to your rest, you also noticed that hold on a second. It's trying to grab the map behind it. Let's see, do that. You notice that to this direction, there is the river just sort of disappears down the edge and into the wall from which it flows. And in this direction, to the east, the direction from which you heard your mother's voice, the water cascades in a twin waterfall down into a dark chasm. Just to the edge of that, you see the rungs of a metal ladder. Metal rungs set into the stone that lead downward. What would you like to do?
So the Thorgarn, they were actually smithing, right?
They were indeed.
Is the sword that they were smithing and the hammer still there?
The hammer was used, they had actually used them as weapons against you.
Okay.
And the sword, shortly after the fight, you would have seen that it was in the process of being worked, but because the forging was interrupted, the sword had grown cold in the midst of being forged, and that the steel is actually cracked.
Yeah, we should have, done something about that, before we spent 8 hours.
Well, no, it was in that state before you spent the 8 hours.
Okay. Cantriel, it looks like you've been the one pointing the direction. Did you tell us that you heard a voice, or did you just say that this is the way you wanted to go?
You all heard the voice.
We all heard it.
All right, so if we're following the voice, I guess we're going that way.
Well, if that's the direction it came from, yes.
Yes, I feel we must follow it. Thorgarn, you look somehow different.
Well, Moradin has finally come to me, and I whisper a few words of celestial, and I cast guidance. And since you brought it up, Griveth, I'll cast it on you.
Okay, thank you.
So if you have to make a check in the next minute, add a D4.
So your wish has come true.
It is true. I thought that this path was to be barred from me, but alas, I was faithful, and he rewarded me.
Blessings on you, friend. Blessings.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, there's two of them now.
Cantriel, I'm no different. I now have the power that I wished for.
Cantriel's actually going to lean over to Thorgarn, and she's going to sniff him.
Going to sniff me?
Uh-huh. Yep.
I imagine that we've been down here for several days, so I don't think I smell good.
Yeah, probably not, but you probably don't smell like a certain fragrance or odor she has experienced with someone else who says they haven't changed a bit because of their god.
This is true. Thorgarn would probably smell of sweat and general dwarven body odor, but does not have that scent of decay and death.
Do I smell any worse or any different?
Do you say that out loud? Hey, Cantriel, do I stink?
There has been enough of the mustiness and in the last 8 to 10 hours, enough smell of burning Duragur that has masked the scent of death that you exude, but you do still smell of death.
Okay.
All right, so Cantriel will sniff and she'll kind of lean back. Well, you smell about as expected, so that's something.
Well, what this means is, at least for the time being, I'll actually be able to, close wounds of those who've gotten injured.
Well, that'd actually be quite helpful.
Considering where we're going, yeah.
Thorgarn, have you noticed my odor? It's unnatural.
I haven't particularly tried to smell, but I mean we're in a dungeon that's fighting and sweaty down here. I imagine we're not all fresh. I mean, there's a stream there if you want to.
It's more than that. It's more that I'm a warrior. I've been in camps my entire life, and I've smelled the smell of war and bodies. It's not that. It's something different. Are you getting with your divine connection? Are you sensing anything wrong?
Is there any kind of check I can make here, Jake?
Constitution save?
Yeah, right?
I would say make a religion check.
All right. Well, since we've got all those domain dice, I'm going to go ahead and use one.
We're using domain dice to see if Griveth really smells bad.
Well, we've got 50.
What kind of smells bad?
Why he smells so bad.
So I turned that 5 to an 18, so that's a 21.
Ooh.
You smell. Hold on. I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. You smell that there is a definite odor of death clinging to Griveth. But it's almost seems heightened by you because of this newfound connection to your deity, that for a moment you can almost see that a sort of shadowy aura emanates from Griveth.
Your face. What do you sense, my friend? What do you sense?
Griveth appears to have some form of corruption clinging to him.
There's, you all kind of scoff at me for speaking to the spirits who dance and come to me, but it appears you've got your own specter back there that dances in your shadow. There is, I hate to tell you, friend, but you have been corrupted by something.
So there is something off about him.
Are you telling this to the group?
I'm not shouting it, but Thorgarn's not one for whispers.
And Cantriel is extremely perceptive.
Yeah, she pretty much hears everything, right? I don't know what to do. You'll have to watch me, Thorgarn.
Well, I mean, I'm new to this whole casting of spells. Perhaps with some prayer and some time, we might be able to investigate what it is. Right now, I've only taken spells that will restore wounds or detect the presence of magic, which we could take some time and see if it's actually a magical emanation if you wanted, or we can experiment when we take a rest next?
Promise me that you'll do whatever you can to. I don't want to be corrupted. Do whatever you have to do. If that time comes, do whatever you have to do. I'm
Understood.
counting on you.
Understood.
Thank you, my friend.
I try my best. So, are we climbing down a slippery metal ladder?
Well, unless you want to go down the waterfalls.
Well, since we can't rightly see how far down it goes, I don't recommend jumping.
Neither would I. Granted, we can heal now. Well, you can heal now, and I can heal. Griveth can do some healing. I think that might be a little bit beyond our capabilities. So the latter it is.
All right.
How are we going to get to the ladder? It's over there. Isn't it a part like across the?
No. It's just it's on the same side you're on.
Perfect.
It's just it runs right parallel to the waterfall.
I'd like to take like a small rock, just anything that might be nearby, and drop it, and just kind of listen.
Well, given that the primary sound you hear is of the rushing waterfall, you're not going to hear a stone fall.
Worth a shot.
So
Seeing him do that, Cantriel will pick up a stone.
What was that, Cantriel?
Seeing Talmud drop the stone down and realizing he's trying to hear something, she'll pick up another stone and she's going to use her light cantrip on it, and then she'll drop it down so we have the visual light going down the shaft of the of the ladder.
So as you drop it, you see this. It's actually quite dazzling as the air is filled with the mist of the waterfall, and this lighted stone drops and grows smaller and smaller and smaller, descending further and further. I would like anybody observing this to make a survival check to see if you can accurately determine how far down it is before it stops.
7. I got it. Perfect.
I got a 14.
12 here.
10.
I got an 18.
Ironically, Talmud is the only one that can accurately guess. As you watch it fall, you can almost count off in your head, and you estimate it to be about a 500-foot drop.
As I was watching it fall, did it look like the rungs of this ladder went all the way down?
Yes.
So it's only about 100 foot down. We should be able to do this without a problem.
No. Quite a bit further than that, I'm afraid, cousin. It was about 500 feet.
Ah, you're daft.
You always were very bad about directions and heights and lengths of things.
Yeah, maybe it's because you got all that, all those inches on me.
Well, he kind of stammers and then walks away.
The two of you have a comparison at one point.
There's not a lot to do when you're living under the ground.
Is that the excuse these days? She'll smirk, and she's starting to take her rope out of her pack.
So, do we think the sound is coming from this way? The Cantriel's.
Yes.
Water?
Yes.
Down the ladder? Down.
Well, that's the only thing to this in this direction, and that's the direction from which the voice came.
Ah.
So, how much rope do we have?
I have 50-foot hempen.
I got 52.
I have 50 foot as well. That's 150 out of our 5.
I also have 50 foot.
So now we have 200.
So do I have 50 feet.
All right, so we can
Halfway.
get halfway down. How would you recommend we do this? We've got some able climbers, some not so able climbers.
I have never climbed before, but I am willing to try.
Does Fig's head come off?
Cantriel's just going to shoot him a look.
We could tie a rope to it and lower her head. I mean, his head.
He's not
What
a
about his
child.
body?
Boy.
So we could tie ourselves all together using this rope, so that if one falls, the rest of us can pull him back in. We could have, like, we could take a long time and, kind of relay people down and try to help those we think that might need it the most. Just throwing some ideas out there.
Talmud, Cantriel, and Griveth. Give me an insight check.
Okay. Not with that one. 12.
Got a 6.
What'd you have, Scotty?
20, sorry.
Griveth and Cantriel, as you guys are figuring this out, you both have this sudden memory, this flashback to attempting to climb down the well from the first level of the Sunless Citadel, and your human druid friend Vi, who suddenly lost her grip. Griveth reached out and tried to catch her, but missed, and she fell 60 feet down to the loam below with a loud crack that later turned out to be her staff. But this memory suddenly flashes back to your mind as you are making your plans for your descent. So, is that the plan?
Yes, I think tying us together is a good idea, Thorgarn.
All right, so
After this memory.
let's do it then.
All right. What is the marching order? Who's going down first?
I'm willing to go first since I have dark vision.
Thorgarn, I would recommend that not to say anything against Cantriel or Fig, but you don't look as strong as the rest of us. So if we have one of the rest of us in between, on either end and in the middle, that has a better chance of dealing with the issue if somebody were to slip and fall.
That does make sense.
I can see as well. I have no problem offering up to go first if somebody wants.
Then I'll go after.
Well, I think Griveth should actually go down first, and he pounds his fist on Griveth's breastplate. He's the heaviest. If he falls from above the rest of us, that's not going to go well. But if he falls from the bottom, then he just dangles.
That's funny, because I was thinking I could be the anchor. That I would be at the top.
But
So if anybody else falls, I could try to.
But cousin, he
Hold
can't
on.
see.
So what do you think? First or last?
I like how nobody's looking at the heavy metal clockwork wizard.
I'm waiting for the heavy metal. Heavy metal! Why did I just do a peace sign? Oh my god. Clockwork wizard to speak up.
Yeah, Fig would just be looking at all of them.
We've already carried him for a while, so I don't think it's that bad. And we got the main dice if there's an issue.
Granted, you did carry my head separate from my body.
Is that the heavy part?
There might be some weight discrepancies there.
Yes, but probably best to keep you in one piece if anything should happen.
Oh, aye. So, it sounds like everybody's vying for going down first or last. Can we get some kind of consensus here?
Fig does not want to go first. That
I'm willing to go first.
I'm willing to go third.
I don't care where I go as long as I get to go down the ladder.
All right. Griveth is going first. Cantriel's going third. Who's going second?
Well, if Cantriel does not want to be next to Griveth, then I would recommend we put Fig second. I'll take third. Cantriel can have fourth, and Talmud can be our anchor.
Okay. As you are descending.
Oh, wait, can I make sure that Talmud and Griveth have light?
Thank you so much.
So what she'll do is she'll go up to Talmud and just gently pat his shoulder so it sort of makes his armor glow. So it's easy light to, and then she'll walk over to Griveth and she's going to smack him upside the head. Don't do anything impulsive. Understood?
Of course not.
You always say that. And then, do you have a helmet on? Does he wear a helmet?
Yeah.
Okay, so your helmet's glowing.
Yeah. Okay. That's fun.
Gonna go to Griveth's head. He has a holy glowing aura.
So as you walk back into position and we start tying knots, it's like I'll kind of lean down, and again, I don't whisper. I'll say to Cantriel, you know dwarves can see in the dark, right? How long have you been traveling with Talmud?
Yes, but if he's the anchor, we want to be sure he can see every last detail.
If you say so.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, you can still see better with light. I mean, yeah, you can see in the dark, but it's still better with light.
Fig wants to create a little sling for Brown Gnaw so that he is also tied up so that he doesn't fall either.
Okay, so first thing. Who's tying all the ropes together?
So is this sleight of hand or survival for you?
For me, tying the ropes is a use rope check. No, I'm just kidding.
I have pretty good survival.
I would use a survival check for tying knots.
I have a +4, everybody.
Okay, +4 survival. Yeah, you do it.
Okay.
Thorgarn seems to be the knowledgeable one, so go ahead and I'm gonna say
18.
How much?
18.
Okay. Fig, I also need a survival check from you.
And if Brown Gnaw squishes, it's only 25 gold to get another
one. I got a 12.
Okay. You're pretty confident in your knot. All right. Ropes are all secured, tied off. Thorgarn has tied the ropes together and has secured the ropes around everybody's waists. And you begin to descend. How much space are you going to allow between each person on your descent?
What do we think? Do we like 10 or do we like 15?
I don't need a specific number. Just, are you going to be bunched up or are you going to be spread out a bit? Are you going to be like a full rope's length apart from each other?
No.
Or half a rope's length?
I would say like probably 10, 15 feet.
Okay. All right. You all begin descending. The waterfall is a continuous roar in your ears. From below and above, this chasm is illuminated with a sort of dancing sparkles of light as Griveth and Talmud, illuminated with Cantriel's light cantrip. The light is just spreading and refracting everywhere from the mist of the waterfall. It is very cold as you are descending. The chill air coming up from below and just the cold water of the waterfall next to you. The metal rungs dig into your hands and feet, except for those that have armor or are made of metal. As you begin descending, Griveth, make me an athletics check.
$16.
Actually, what I'll do is I'll say, just everybody go ahead and make an athletics check. I'm not going to stretch this out.
Uh,
22.
I'm gonna take one of those domain die. Because that 19 on the die is better than the 2. So that's a 25.
All right, Fig,
I got a 24.
what'd you get, Talmud?
16.
You are finding the climb, as long as you take your time, you all seem to be moving pretty steadily down, and everybody's doing okay. As you get about halfway down, more water, the water seems to be spreading out more in the cavern. You're actually getting soaked yourselves because the water is just separating more as it's falling such a great distance. And I would like you all to make a second athletics check.
$17.
22.
13.
I likewise got a 22.
I rolled a 1, but I'm using inspiration, and I rolled a 18 with the reroll.
All right. You guys are moving in unison, it seems. You just have this rhythm down as you begin, or rather continue your descent. And now for the last 150 feet, I would like a final athletics check from everybody. At this point, it's like you're just in a continuous spray. I'm not making you roll at disadvantage, but I will say that the DC is higher.
18.
Rocking out a 25.
12.
14 here.
26.
Did you crit it, or you?
No, I almost had a 19, and I have a +7.
You continue your descent with this just rhythmic movement. You never bunch up too much. You never get too spread out. With about 50 feet left to go, you hear a resounding, even above the cascade of the water, you hear this metallic ping. As Griveth, you step on one of the steps and the metal breaks. The ringing sound is that of it breaking and sort of your armored foot passing through it. You jerk against the next rung that you're holding on to, and your full weight causes you to lose your grip on it. At the same moment, Fig, Brown sort of takes a weird bounce against you and spins, and you reach to steady him. And without thinking, you just reach with both hands. And as he's steadied, that's when the rope pulls taut against you, and Griveth and Fig are both falling. I need strength checks from Thorgarn, Talmud, and Cantriel.
Is this a strength check or a strength save?
I'm going to say because of the way everything's going, I'm going to call this a saving throw.
Okay.
16.
Dang. 23.
Another 19 for a total of 26 again.
All right. You all feel Thorgarn, you suddenly realize what's happening, and you're able to grab hold as the other two are falling. You secure your hold, and all of you just are able to maintain your hold as this tension happens. Talmud and Cantriel, you sort of feel it as Thorgarn saw what was happening and just quickly grabbed hold. I imagine almost like wrapping your arm around the rung and taking the brunt of this. You feel that tautness, the jerk, and you just instinctively grab hold. So nobody loses their grip beyond Griveth and Fig. However, Griveth, you, were 10 feet away from Fig. And Fig was 10 or 15 feet away from Thorgarn, which means between the two of you, there is 100 feet of rope that you are falling down. And you, as I said, when this happened was with about 50 feet remaining. So Griveth, you are going to fall the entire 50 feet.
So does the rope snap?
No, but he's at the full length of the rope. You guys are near the bottom. You only had 50 feet to go to the bottom.
Yeah, but we were tied to each other, so if somebody fell, they would just dangle. They wouldn't. I didn't expect that it was like.
I thought we had the length tied at 15 feet apart.
Oh, did you tie it at 15 feet apart?
That's what I thought the distance was about, wasn't it?
Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah, we tied it to each person.
Well, I understood that, but I thought that you had the full 50 feet of rope tied and you were just maintaining 15 feet between each other.
No, I was thinking you meant 15 apart because then you'd leave the longer length up at the top of the...
Well, that'll mitigate some of the damage you guys are going to take.
Megan.
Can Fig cast Featherfall?
Yes, that is a reaction.
Yes.
So
on himself, he just panics and just casts it on everyone because it's on 5 creatures. So he just.
So then the tugging that Thorgarn feels as this happens, and you look behind you, you see for a moment it seems to be a trick of the light that's refracting through all of this waterfall, as it looks like Griveth and Fig are falling backwards in slow motion. And then you realize they are falling backwards in slow motion. And they sort of reach the edge of this toom, toom, and just sort of slowly swing in and bounce off of the edge of the wall, taking no damage. With Featherfall activated and you pendulum in on the rope, the two of you are able to find your grip and regain control on the ladder. All of you would notice that. How long does Featherfall last?
A minute.
Okay. For the next 60 seconds, as you are descending, it seems a little bit easier. You're not straining as much at your muscles. And you find that you can actually descend a little bit quicker. So, the 5 of you are able to make it to the bottom without injury or death. Curses.
Thank you, Fig. You saved me from a nasty fall. I really owe you for that.
He speaks kindness.
Perhaps I can find a golden cockroach to give to you.
That would be very nice. Thank you.
That was a bit of strain. Shall we rest up and get a drink and see if we can figure out where that voice is coming from?
Can we
Yes.
hear it anymore since we've landed?
You haven't heard it since, at this point, about 9 hours.
Are we sure that the voice is still speaking? Kind of looks around to everybody. Because I haven't heard it for some time, so I'm not really sure if we should keep going this way or if there's another way that maybe would work.
Can I listen and like do a perception check?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Talmud, you of all people should know that, spirits and, hearing the voices of those who've gone beyond, this is something that we should respect and should see to the end.
I'm going to use a domain die.
All right, let me go back here. Because I haven't figured out how to carry the domain die over on the other screen.
Okay, that's a 14 now, as opposed to a 2. Type of situation. Not a 2, but it wasn't good.
All right, roll me a D100.
It's funny. There's a radio station near where we live, Ted, Z100. Every time I hear D100, I'm like, Z100.
Well, I used to listen to Y100, but that changed formats.
Yeah. All right. So I got a 16.
You do not hear anything but the rushing of the waterfall cascading into the water next to the 5 of you. As you've descended, you actually find yourself in the center bottom of this map. You actually end up descending into the pool. And you have to work together. I'm not going to make you make any checks or anything like that. Griveth being fully armored, and even Fig, you find that other than at the very base of the waterfall, the water is only about 5 or 6 feet deep.
Oh, Jesus.
Good
Way
thing-
over my head.
Good thing you didn't. Good thing you didn't fall entire way. But you are able to work together and get across to the other side to this large stone area. It seems to be partially worked stone. Like, you can see the marks of Talmud and Thorgarn. You can see the marks of dwarven tools. You even see some ancient discarded pickaxes with broken handles, and hammers and things like that. It appears that Durgan and his clan may have attempted to do some working down here. And you can even see to the north, as you look just about 50 feet along this embankment where you are, and the river seems to go both to the east and to the west. Straight ahead of you, spanning the underground river, you see a dwarven bridge. Very obviously of dwarven workmanship. And that's where we're going to take our break. We're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break, during which we will run the usual 10-minute promotional video. So go ahead and refresh your beverages, relieve your bladders, do what you got to do. We will be back here in 10 minutes to continue tonight's adventure. So we will see you in just a few, as I stall while I get the timer going. All right. We'll be back. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is The Intermission. Mini Terrain Domain, or MTD, is a channel dedicated to the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, You can do so at twitch.tv/mini-terrain-domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Cult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb of Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportions. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place in the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you'd like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or Coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe to one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more great content in just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm V and I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city and a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the mercenary guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut, and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharon Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and a high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on drivethrurpg.com.
Griveth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Griveth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Griveth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the Cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous role tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Broodhammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Griveth are not heroes. In Griveth it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on drivethrurpg.com.
And we're back. The party has successfully navigated the wet ladder descending hundreds of feet. There was a close call with Griveth and Fig, but Fig's quick thinking and magical abilities slowed their descent and saved the day. They have arrived at the bottom of the waterfall on a partially worked stone and mud embankment. To the north of them, about 50 feet, you see a dwarven bridge. You can see that a fast-flowing underground river moves from the west to the east, and some of the caverns continue off to the west, but the bridge goes to the north and then to the east. What would you like to do?
So, Cantriel, are you able to, hear that voice? Because I don't.
No, unfortunately, I don't hear any more. But I have been hearing it.
So
before.
You heard it more than once?
She'll look to Talmud and Thorgarn. Well, I'm sure the two of you can relate.
Oh, I'm not questioning or looking at you crazy. I mean, I talk to Father Griffin every day.
Let's just say I've spent almost a century without hearing my mother's voice. Suddenly we get here and I'm hearing it.
Well, that's got to mean something, and I really think that this should be something we see through. I mean, I say we head on and see what we can find, and didn't it say something like you're almost there and it was coming from this way? So got to be close.
Yes, and then beware of the creature of the night or something along those lines.
So the night has wings.
The night has wings, yes.
So that could be a bat, something dark that has wings, or it could be a literal, and I'll kind of point to plate mail over there, like a knight who has wings.
Did you just call Griveth plate mail?
I did.
I love it. Hearing that, Cantriel is going to smirk a little bit. Well, at least I'll make them easier to move around.
So, I revel, being in this dwarven place, and looks like we got a dwarven bridge to inspect. So, that away.
Yes. And thank you for understanding.
Oh, aye.
So you head the 50 feet towards the dwarven bridge that has been constructed over the river. The ground you're on technically could be considered for a little ways difficult terrain. So you got to be a little careful. It's very muddy here on the embankment. And you can see where you've pulled yourself up. And you can see as you're sort of kind of just watching your step and moving forward, you do notice that there seem to be other marks and tracks in this mud. I would need a survival check from anybody who would like to try to identify these tracks.
All right, here's a 20.
12.
13.
Yeah, I got a 9.
17.
Who got the 9? Cantriel, you can't figure out what these are. Is there anybody that got under a 12? Other than Cantriel. So the rest of you are kind of reminded of the troglodytes from earlier. It has a, whatever this is that made these marks appears reptilian, but larger than the troglodytes. You see where something has, it looks almost as if something has pulled itself up out of the water. Something with 4 feet. And you can see other marks that kind of move between where the feet fall that look like something heavy was dragged. Possibly a tail. But the sorry, I forgot for a minute that was off air that we had that conversation. Sorry, sometimes we get caught up in our side chat. Anyway, it's difficult with the mud to tell how old these tracks are. Continuing to the bridge, you find a stone and reinforced timber bridge of dwarven construction that it looks like something that would probably be constructed. It's not intended to be a permanent structure, but would have been something created to cross the river temporarily while any such work was going on. It looks sturdy and looks as if it should easily support your weight. Crossing to the other side, if you choose to do so, it does, of course, support your weight. So you get to a much narrower section where it's natural cavern walls. It's maybe 5 to 10 feet in places, moving to the east. And here you can see a couple places where it looks like the dwarves tested the stone with their hammers and picks, just getting a sense for what the rock was comprised of.
When I see these things, I don't stop and investigate, but I do just kind of like run my hand along it, as if to, kind of connect with those dwarves who were here so long ago.
After about another 50 or 60 feet, you see where part of the cavern wall was carved away to make room for another bridge that crosses the river once again to the south side of it. This bridge looks to be made of similar construction, but something seems off about it, Thorgarn and Talmud. It almost looks like the stone is more like pumice than solid stone. It seems to have this like micro bubble holes all over it, like it was made from a volcanic rock instead of regular rock.
Can we investigate? Does it look like it's gonna support our weight? Does it look like it's trapped?
Yes, absolutely. If you would like to make an investigation, and I would allow Thorgarn and Talmud to do so at advantage.
Yay, because this is a flat roll for me. That is a 13.
Mine is not a flat roll, but I also got a 13.
Looking at it, it seems to be perhaps aged or weather-worn more so than the previous bridge. But you can't quite put your finger on it. It looks, like I said, it looks like volcanic rock. It looks like that pumice stone that seems to be almost aerated, like it's very light because it's had all like hundreds and thousands of tiny bubbles in it that burst. It has this sort of hollow quality to it, which would lead you to believe that maybe it's not as sturdy. It would cause you to doubt the sturdiness of it, but that's about the most you can discern from it.
Well, I'm more than willing to go first and see if it'll support the weight.
Do you want some rope around you?
I was gonna say, we can do the whole rope thing as we did before.
Probably couldn't hurt.
Is the water here moving as fast as it was upstairs?
Yes.
Good question.
Okay.
I'm on the lookout for that beastie.
They're right. So you're tying a rope around Thorgarn, and Thorgarn, you're gonna
walk across.
All right. What remind me what kind of armor you're wearing?
Scale mail.
All right. You begin moving across the bridge. You take a few steps and you can feel just a little bit of give. These stones seem to have just a weird quality to them. You take another step. And I would like you to make a insight check.
Hey, nothing like rolling skills where you actually got proficiency in. Hey, 18.
You realize, as you take that next step, what it is that wasn't sitting right with you about this stone. It's not volcanic rock. You've only seen this when acid is applied to stone. And at that same moment, the bridge gives way under your weight. Stone and timber cracks as you plummet into the fast-moving river below. Who's holding onto the rope? Fig, I need a athletics check with advantage since Griveth raised his hand that he's helping. Thorgarn, make a dexterity saving throw.
Dex. I'm not within 10 feet of Griveth, am I? Ooh. That is a dirty 20.
I got a net 20 for a 26.
The two of you see him falling and you just instinctively pull taut on this rope. And Thorgarn, you actually have this moment of, it almost seems unbelievable, but as the bridge is falling away, this is the kind of thing you only see in action movies or cartoons. As the pieces of the bridge are breaking away under you, you sort of run up a couple of the pieces and get just enough leverage to and grab hold of the edge of the broken bridge. And you do not plummet into the river, and you don't take any damage from the pieces that were falling around you. But the bridge is now broken, and you are all on the north side of the bridge.
How far is it across?
10 feet, maybe 12.
Fig's gonna take a...
Question. When I do Misty Step, can I hold the rope?
That is a good question.
If someone was holding the end of the rope, because technically my gear goes with me when I Misty Step.
Well,
Is question, ponderance.
So I'm trying to find the right instance here to use this one. Let's see.
I love how we have 3 of you looking in the books.
Okay, so here's the reason why I'm going to say that you will leave the rope behind.
Okay.
Or it would go with you, and it's because of the wording of the spell is you're teleporting.
Okay.
So you would teleport out of the rope, or if you're holding on to it, just as you Misty Stepped, you would know that you won't be able to take it with you.
That's why I was asking.
Yep. No, I just wanted to double check the wording of the spell to be sure on that. Sometimes there's loopholes, and sometimes I'm willing to bend them a little bit. So you need to figure out how you guys are going to get across. I will say this: give me a perception check, Thorgarn.
Oh, wow. It's a 17.
As you were stepping across the bridge, you did notice to the east that the river is flowing into a very large underground lake.
Well, I mean, even though there's a bridge here, I'm pretty sure most of us could probably jump that.
Is there anyone who does not feel comfortable with jumping it?
As a reminder for those who may not know, and weirdly, somebody asked me this question today. You can jump a distance equal to, if you have a running start of 10 feet or more, you can jump a distance equal to your strength score, not your modifier. But if you do a standing jump, then you can jump half of that distance. So if you have a strength of 16, you can get a running start and jump 16 feet.
I have my own means of getting across, but thank you for asking. It was very considerate of you.
What can you do, Fig?
I could push her across, and she would float.
I think you should do that.
Cantriel's going to look at him, and she's just going to Misty step right over the bridge with an interesting gesture with her hand movements.
What gesture would that be?
Oh, something about a bird, I think is the colloquialism.
Is that some
double
kind of,
bird?
Is that some kind of thieves' cant?
Yeah.
I like that.
She's hung out with interesting crowds.
Was it a bird that was flipping or something?
Yes, it did a nice little flipper too.
I totally picture this. Cantriel just sort of stepping backwards to Misty step and just sort of doing this like, and you just see for a moment the last thing is just this
finger
of a finger.
Absolutely.
You mean pushing us into the river?
No, that's not what I meant at all.
Oh, what'd you mean?
I meant I can make people levitate. Is that what she thought I meant? Oh, dear. And then you see Fig is going to back up a little bit and he's going to start running. It's like, wait, Cantriel, no, I'm sorry. And just jump.
I guess we're jumping.
So I will follow him across, then I will jump.
Me too.
I will also jump across.
So I'm assuming everybody has a strength score, especially based on your checks coming down the ladder. Everybody has a strength score greater than 10. So I'm not going to make you guys roll. Everybody is able to make that jump. It's a pretty easy jump. You all, once again, or rather, not once again, for the first time, find yourself on the other side. And you can now see that the cavern continues on, and you see a great lake. You see glinting off of the light that shimmers from Talmud and Griveth. Out in the center edge of the lake, you see about a 40 by 60 foot stone island with stalacmites rising up from it, and the very obvious gleam of gold and silver, copper, jewels reflecting. You see blades, you see pieces of art, all kinds of things, in what appears to be some sort of massive hoard of treasure.
The Thorgarn! The Thorgarn! Look! And Talmud's
Oh.
going to start running along the ledge.
Oh, I see it, but we don't know what's in that lake.
Wait.
If we
Wait.
if we run off, then whatever owns that is gonna get us before we can get it.
Cantriel, you're sure whatever led us down here is not is not tricking us?
Only as sure as I am of what's going on with you.
Sure this isn't a trap? Seems
No.
awful strange. Why would your mother be down here?
Okay, just so you guys all know, Talmud sprinted. I don't know where he's going, but
Talmud, after about 60 feet, 50 feet, you get to a spot where the path is broken, and there's these sort of stones that they only have about 2 or 3 feet between them, so you'd have to sort of jump across them to continue on along the path.
Thorgarn, grab him!
he went before I could grab him.
So Talmud will stop kind of at this broken part and kind of look back at the rest. Hurry up! Come on!
Wait.
It's just sitting there.
I didn't know.
And you know what? It's gonna stay sitting there while we make sure it's safe.
There's something down here.
Yes, more treasure than I could have ever imagined.
I know, but I can't carry all that.
Oh, I could try.
Or die trying.
Fine, poke the water.
I don't want to lose anyone over treasure.
Cantriel
Talmud reaches down and splashes the water.
No.
So I assume the four of us are walking towards Talmud while this conversation is happening. Is that correct?
Probably a hurried walk, like the power walk, I would guess.
Cantriel,
Yes.
I have to remember because I think it's Cantriel's the one that has the really high passive. I forgot to write it down on this sheet.
18.
As the four of you are moving up towards Talmud, who sort of stopped and is now bent over and is splashing the water, you see movement, Cantriel, over from the direction of this island of treasure. You see the shifting of light as Talmud is excitedly moving around and Griveth moving towards. You see this light catching, and you see standing on the island a humanoid figure, shimmering as the reflected light seems to coalesce into the form of an elven woman. And even from this distance, it's about 60, 70 feet, it looks as if your mother is standing on this island. And you hear, Cantriel, you're here. All of you can hear this. She begins to walk towards you.
Does she walk across the water?
She's walking across the water, but her feet do not make any splashing. She gets to within about 20 or 30 feet of the edge of where you are. Cantriel, for so long, I thought I would never see you. I've longed for this day, but I feared it also. But you shouldn't be here. It's too dangerous.
Can I insight?
Sure.
See if the words are actually accurate. So 17.
From what you can tell, the words being spoken by this elven specter are sincere.
Okay.
Thorgarn, what do you think?
It seems pretty legit.
All right. I am calling on the power of Eldath.
Cantriel's head's gonna whip towards Griveth. just like this glare.
I am casting Detect Good or Evil.
Okay.
So question 1, does he notice himself? Because I'm assuming, since he's casting a, divine spell that I have access to, I would kind of have an idea of what he's doing. Is that accurate?
Well, keep in mind your direct divine influence is relatively new.
Okay.
I would say roll a religion or arcana check to see if you can determine what he's doing.
That is a 19. The dice are being actually nice to me.
Griveth, you detect trace amounts of desecration, but not coming from the specter nor from the island, but coming from yourself. What did you get, Thorgarn?
19.
On
knowledge religion?
Yeah, you know that he's casting Detect Good or Evil.
But the specter's clean.
You do not detect any aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead emanating from it. You do not detect consecration nor desecration, except a faint aura of desecration emanating from you. I would like perception checks from everyone. Cantriel, you notice that as she's warning and talking to you and saying this, you shouldn't have come. She sort of stopped, but she seems like she's straining, trying to move towards you. But something seems to be, like, as she pulls forward, portions of her essence seem to kind of draw backwards, preventing her from moving any closer to you. What did everybody get on your perception checks?
I got a 4.
I got a 17.
16.
16.
Do you want me to still roll?
Yes.
Okay. Like, should I be rolling? I don't know. It's gonna be an 18.
So you're saying she shouldn't be here, but not so many hours ago you were saying you're almost there. You're so close. Why would you call and then say you shouldn't be here?
I haven't seen.
Mother, what is going on?
It's so much more than you could ever have known. I'm not sure how much I can fully explain it, but you have to come to me. You have to come to this here. And she turns and she indicates the island of treasure. Only when you find it will you understand. And then she says, but be careful. The night has wings and lurks. And as she says this, she turns towards you. She says, the night has wings and lurks. And she says, Cantriel. But you hear, as she says this, you hear another voice say Cantriel at the same time. But this voice seems to have a more sinister edge to it. It speaks the name in stereo with your mother, and it's sort of the high notes of the name Cantriel. Cantriel! Reverberate around the lake and the cavern walls and ceiling. Cantriel, Cantriel, that's all I ever hear. And the form of your mother seems to just get pulled, yanked backwards towards the island. And as it does so, it's like a fog moving past, broken by something that was obscured that you now see rising up out of the water as you see. Let's see if I can actually make this work the way I want it to. As you see, nope, that is not what you were supposed to see. So, okay, I can't make it work the way it's supposed to. You see a figure rising up out of the water, and that figure, I'm trying one more time real quick, I'm vamping, that figure is that of a black dragon. Cantriel, Cantriel, and it hisses one last time the name Cantriel. And as it does so, I need... Oh, come on. I need... Cantriel to make a dexterity saving throw.
I'm near her. She can have a +3.
I just got a 20.
Oh.
And a 6, so it's a 26.
All right. Something just went screwy with the... Hold on. I gotta go old school here. I'm using D&D Beyond, but it's glitching out and it's not showing me the right information. So, allowing me a moment to look up our friendly neighborhood dragon here and see. Oh, yes, that is correct. I'm going to need more D8s. So, you got a 20 on your saving throw?
26 total.
Excellent. So you will take half damage.
It's still enough to kill you, but you know, hey.
As let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I usually have all my dice ready, but I did not have them for this one. Seriously, I need one more D8. There it is. I am about to roll 11 D8. 4, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 26, 30, 36, 42. You take 21 points of acid damage. As
quick question. Could I use my cutting words?
Which that imposes disadvantage on an attack, doesn't it?
It is the but they're not immune to being charmed. Are they immune to being charmed is the only thing I'm not sure about with a dragon.
But doesn't that make affect an attack to make it disadvantage?
It lessens damage, right?
Yeah. Subtract the number from the creatures. I mean, it's going to give me a D6 less, but still.
Is Cantriel within 30 feet of me?
Yeah, you guys are all pretty close.
I could use Spirit Shield, which I just picked up.
Is that a reaction?
It is. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I cannot because I'm not raging. False alarm.
For some reason, my cutting words information isn't popping up. So that doesn't impose a disadvantage. It just
No, it's just
lessens
a
the
reaction.
damage. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, you can use that and reduce it by. So you can turn 21 points into.
Well, it's like subtract a d6 roll from it. It's really what it is. Because it's one of my bardic inspirations being
All right.
reversed. Big.
So you'll take the 21 minus whatever you roll there.
Okay, so I'm going to take, what was it, 21?
Yep.
20.
So first, I need everybody to roll for initiative, as this black dragon has just instigated a fight with you. All right, Griveth, what do you got?
I got an 11, sir.
Cantriel. If you said something, I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me? I had to step away for a second.
Oh, yeah, your initiative.
15.
Fig.
I got a 12 and Brown Gnaw got a 16.
Thorgarn.
10.
Talmud.
19.
What's your dex, Talmud?
A plus, or it is a 14.
So that's +2.
Yeah.
All right. Talmud. You and the dragon will be going at the same time.
Yikes.
Followed by Brown Gnaw. Cantriel. Big. Griveth. And Thorgarn. As the dragon makes its initial breath attack, it shifts, and I'm now going to roll a d6 to see which of the 5 of you gets attacked. I will re-roll a 6. I will re-roll a 6. Griveth, I need a dexterity saving throw as a rapid inhale and the dragon exhales a line of acid towards you. As you hear it saying, Cantriel, Cantriel, the name that curses me. What'd you get, Griveth?
11.
Just a reminder, 48 domain dice.
Hey, Jake, can you chat check?
Which chat?
Twitch.
Oh, did I fail the check? I assume.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a domain die.
All right, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, I think I took care of them. It wouldn't let you do that? All right.
No, I wasn't getting any mod rights at all.
All right. I'll check on that later. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Apologies in the chat for those that had to see that stuff. Yeah, no, don't worry about it, Wiley. Apparently, I don't normally look that close at the chat, and there was some nonsense happening. And you know what I'm gonna do? Boom. There you go. Little treat for you there, Wiley. Well, thank you, Quinian, for cheering everybody up with a domain die. So, Griveth was re-rolling with a domain die, so I'm going to, just for the ceremony of it, I'm going to take away the one Griveth used, and then I'm going to give you one back. So, what did you re-roll, Griveth?
My second roll was 15.
Okay, so that is a success, so you will take half damage. There appear to be a few ones in this roll of damage. So that's 3, 4. That's 4 dice totaling 4 damage. So 4, 10, 25, 33, 35, 38, 45. So 22 points of acid damage. As soon as the... Well, actually, because you work at the same time, Talmud, I'm going to let you take your action as you see that this black dragon is already beginning to dip below the surface. I'm going to let you take your action. It is about 20 feet away from you.
So Talmud sees this dragon breathe this acid, and he calls out, "No!" and reaches his hand in that direction. And as he does so, like, his tattoos starts to glow all the way up his arm and over his body and his face. And as he does so, his voice kind of morphs from his normal voice over to the voice of his aunt. No! And is there any part of this dragon that I can reach from where I'm at?
It's 30 feet away from you.
Okay.
Sorry, I said 20 feet away from you.
In that case, he is going to pull 2 javelins from his back as his aunt's form kind of takes over his own, and he's going to hurl one after the other of these javelins at this dragon.
I can dig it.
All right, so it's rage, but I cannot add the bonus damage because it's not melee. Okay, that's a 22 to hit.
Yes, that will hit.
Excellent. And the second is a dirty 20.
Those will both hit.
Fantastic. All right. So no bonus die. Hey, that's still fantastic damage. So that's 10 points and 9 points, respectively.
You see, as the dragon is beginning to dip below the surface, its scales sort of flare out for a moment, and your javelins find those weak spots, sinking in, and you see it sort of throw its head back as it dips below the surface of the water. And you see ripples in the water.
And as I do so, these javelins, both of them zing out, and some of the dwarven spirits come forth from Talmud and chase these javelins And as they embed themselves on the dragon, these dwarven spirits start to swirl and slash and cut at this dragon, not doing any damage, but distracting them. So until my next turn, the dragon will have disadvantage on any attack that is not directed at me. And if it hits someone else with an attack, regardless, they have resistance to that damage.
Okay. So that is the end of both Thorgarn and the dragon's turn.
Talmud, but close.
Or Talmud, sorry. It is Brownnaw's turn. Now, this is interesting. Because the dragon dipped below the surface of the water, it is technically invisible. Well, not invisible, you just can't see it. But can anybody else see your spirits, Talmud?
I have been flavoring it as such, but I don't know if from the book necessarily that's supposed to be the case. So I'll look it up.
Yes, in when you're actually raging, everyone sees the spirits.
Okay. So these spirits are giving away the dragon's position.
Hell yeah.
So you can all see as the dragon has swum under the surface of the water, you know exactly where it is because there's spirits kind of moving like dragonflies across the surface, darting around. So you see as it swims about 40 feet back towards the center of the lake, you know exactly where it is, but it's now about 60 feet away.
So my internet glitched out. And I missed a lot of, so just basically that it died down.
Summarize, dragon dived. Talmud's spirit guardians are flitting around above the water where it is. It's 60 feet away because it swam away. And it's Brownnaw's turn.
Okay. Fig is going to command telepathically to Brownnaw to go right to the edge of the water.
Okay.
And that is going to be his turn for now.
All right. And then it is Cantriel's turn.
All right. Well, being able to use the spirits as guides, no pun intended, she's going to, you said how far away is it? Distance?
60 feet away.
Okay, perfect. She's going to cast Shatter right in the center of its form.
Oh.
And it's going to have to do a Constitution saving throw. And I'm going to cast this at 3rd level to add in an extra 1d8.
I like it.
Me too. So then it's 48 damage. I wish 48.
Con save, okay?
Con save against my... You're not helping, kitten.
That is a natural 19 for a total of 25.
Reroll.
But of course, I would
You
expect
never know.
nothing less.
You never know.
As I re-roll.
Stop.
And hand still in the air after re-rolling. Rolling the... Oh, sorry. It shifted. The Atcon D20, that is an AT natural 20 on that second save.
Well, okay. At least you still take half damage. Or it will take half damage. So, hold on. I got to roll twice because I don't have enough D8s. Okay, so that is 14. Come on.
And you guys made me re-roll that, so
it's 2
45, 46. So that takes you guys down to...
Hold on. You're going to be taking 10 points total once you take half because I got 20 total. So
10 points.
10 points thunder damage and disadvantage. Hold on. Never mind. You're not inorganic. So yeah, 10 points thunder damage.
So there's this tremendous... And the water sprays up where these spirits are. And for a moment, you see the arch of the dragon's back as Cantriel casts a spell against it. Cantriel, you hear from the island your mother's voice, and you see the spectral form faint, less visible, but you can still sort of see it as she's standing in amongst the treasure on this island. Cantriel, come to me. I can aid you. Anything else besides the shatter?
She'll look over to who's up next? Fig. She'll just tap Fig on his shoulder and say, that's some teamwork then, isn't it? And give him bardic inspiration.
All right. Bardically inspired Fig, it is your turn.
Fig. This thing is still swimming around underwater.
Yep, still 60 feet away. You know exactly where it is because Cantriel shattered it, and the spirits seem to be flitting about above it.
Fig is going to outstretch his arm, and you see this tiny little match come out of his forearm. And with it pointed towards where he knows that this dragon is, he outstretches his hand, and immediately this ball of fire just goes out. But since it's magic, I don't know.
So I'm of the school of thought that magical fire is magical fire. So you can absolutely cast it because you know where it is. It's not going to hit the water and go. Pff.
Yeah.
So I believe he needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yes.
And just because I don't mind being transparent, I'm going to roll this saving throw. So for dexterity, that is a 6 on the die.
It's wisdom.
Or sorry, wisdom. Wait, what?
It's oh no, it is a dexterity.
I was gonna say it's a fireball. It's a dex save.
Duh.
So that's weird.
No, mine are wisdom.
Hold on one second. I'm realizing there's an issue here.
It's a very wise fireball. Okay, it spouts some real fire as it goes down and hits you.
It's a firecracker fireball.
No better to
There
get
we
out of
go.
the way.
Sorry,
It's a wise ass fireball.
I had a chroma
That I
key
can
filter
drop.
on that was filtering out the color of the die, the yellow from the die. So go ahead and roll your damage because, well, what's your DC?
16.
Well, his 11 is not enough to beat that, so that is a successful attack.
8d6, perfect. All right, so that is going to be 34 points of damage.
All right, let me do some math here. Interesting. Okay.
He's also going to run towards Brown Gnaw and place a hand on him. And you see that there's like this little jolt of electricity between Brown Gnaw and him that kind of sparks. And he is going to cast as a bonus action Dragon's Breath onto Brown Gnaw.
What does that do?
Brown Gnaw now can take an action to use to exhale energy in the form of electricity, and they take 46 damage.
What's the range?
15 feet.
Okay.
So
you're just imbuing that ability. He's not actually doing it at the moment. All right. Is that the end of your turn? Griveth, you are up.
All right, so I managed to sidestep that acid blast a little bit, but my armor's kind of sputtering and hissing as it kind of slides down my armor, and I realize that the situation is pretty dire, so I am calling on Eldath to aid our battles and protect us from this foul beast. I am casting Bless on the entire party. I'm using a 2nd level spell.
All
Bless
right.
you get a bless, and you get a bless, and you get a bless, and you get a bless.
The divine Saint Oprah.
Thank you, Saint Oprah.
Wait, could we make that a thing? Because that would be a freaking riot.
It's kind of like you have the patrons of Eldath. It's
Well,
patron Oprah.
clearly she's all about charity.
All right, so
giving away of things.
Griveth
Griveth has cast bless.
I'm the one on the cold medicine.
Griveth has cast Bless on the party. Any other movement or anything there, Griveth?
He's just going to try to stand near Cantriel. And as much close to the party as I can, kind of, that 10-foot area, so I can get everybody.
Yeah, so I kind of imagine everybody's more or less right in that same area.
That's what I was kind of thinking, yeah.
And speaking of Thorgarn,
so this dragon is backed up. So you said it's 60 feet away?
It's 60 feet out in the middle of the lake.
I don't know how I feel about chucking javelins into the water. I only got so many of those. But I also have nothing else that I could be able to do. I mean, even my, where's my... Yeah, I didn't even take... Screw it. So do I approach and get out of range of, the party and get away the disadvantage? Or do I...
You can't get any closer to it without actually going in the water.
Oh, well then screw it. I'm apparently throwing javelins at disadvantage.
Well, as a fighter, first of all, why are you rolling at disadvantage?
Because it's beyond 30 feet.
Okay. I will say, technically, and you would know this, that a target that is underwater technically has full cover.
Oh, okay.
However, you are throwing javelins, which can penetrate water.
Yes.
So I'm not going to impose any extra penalties. So go ahead.
My first one's a 14. So I'm going to assume that misses.
That is going to miss.
And I'm happy here. I got a 17.
Also a miss.
Okay. Well,
you just see these bloop, bloop, as your javelins disappear. Pretty much what your fear was about throwing javelins out into the middle of a lake.
Yep.
All right.
Dwarven swears come, flying out of his mouth.
Thorgarn, you see as the dragon moves not deeper into the lake, but a little more to the west. So I'm going to go to the map because trying to explain this to you guys. So if you look, you see where the 3 stepping stones are there near the bottom, and you guys are all basically on the shoreline to the left of that. It was sort of out in the middle. It's now moving up towards that sort of little looks like a bite out of the rock up on the northern side there. So it's still roughly, we'll say it's about 60 feet away, Talmud. As your spirit's forms are still kind of harrying it, you see its head briefly. You kind of see, basically as it moves, you see it do that thing where it sort of arcs up out of the water and then moves off that way. It seems to be trying to stay below the surface of the water. Talmud, what would you like to do?
So I'll yell out at this point. If we move to its treasure, it's going to come after us. Maybe that might be a tactic.
Yeah, that was my plan. So, following his initial instinct to head towards the treasure, Talmud is going to do exactly that. He's going to move along the wall to the southeast here, and if he can get to the point where those stones are, he's going to start trying to leap across.
I figure you're pretty much already there at those. I'm going to say that those are difficult terrain, so it's going to take 30 feet of movement to get over to the other side of those 3 stepping stones.
Okay, so I have 35. So just across, and then I can dash.
Yeah, so if you dash, you'd be able to move your full movement speed.
Yeah.
So that would get you kind of to that let's see, 15 and then 5, 10, 15, 20. So you're almost there to where it dips all the way down towards the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, and as he does so, after he's jumped across, he's waving his arms around and kind of tapping Gerta along the stone ground. Over here, you oversized worm. Over here. Come on, come and get me. Yeah.
I'm going to have you make I'm going to make that a persuasion. That's not so much intimidation. It's very, very much not intimidation.
Yeah, that's not Auntie Tildane's way. But I do actually have ranks in persuasion, oddly enough. That is a 15 total.
Well, the dragon, you see it just sort of peek its eyes up over the surface of the water, but it does not take the bait. And it does not surface on its turn.
And as Ted pointed out, technically that does end my rage because I didn't attack or take damage.
That is true.
But with a bonus action on the end of my turn, I will re-enter rage.
That is going to, the disruption in your rage is going to cause your spirits to fade away.
Yes, it happens at the end of my turn anyways.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, the spirits are gone. You still saw its head poke up. You guys know where it is. And it is Brown Gnaw's turn.
Brown Gnaw is going to take his dash and movement to follow Talmud towards the island.
Brown Gnaw is going to do that?
Yes. Actually, he's going to wait by the rocks until Fig can come and pick him up.
Okay. Cantriel.
She's going to do a 2nd level shatter. So you got to do the Constitution saving throw again.
All right.
Or take half damage. This time it's only 3d8.
Okay, so rolling my
Got a 1.
black and yellow Atcon D20.
-1.
As a 14, it was a 4, but it rolled onto the 14.
Oh God, you just made it.
Which makes it a dirty 20.
All right. Well, you'll still get.
But there are still 40 some odd domain dice.
Reroll? I'm getting the signal. Reroll.
I mean, I'm not forcing you to spend your dice. I'm just saying you got a lot of them. The audience has been giving you guys so many
They
of
have
these
been
things.
very good about that. Yeah. So yeah.
So
Yeah.
but I like it because sometimes this turns into a really good number.
Sometimes it don't.
This time it did not. That is a 6 plus 6 is 12.
Total?
Total.
Ah, sweet. You're going to take full damage. Sucker! Sweet. So that is going to be holding on for the math. 17.
And Quinian BC just dumped another 500 bits to replenish one of those domain dice for you guys. See, they want you to have them so you can use them.
Do.
So, how many total damage?
17. Thunder.
Ooh.
Thundercats. I had to.
So, despite this thing hiding underneath the water, Cantriel is unrelenting, casting shatter spell after shatter spell. You see the water flaring up into the air. And Cantriel, you're the only one that just senses it magically. You can feel the spell taking effect. Anything else you're going to do, Cantriel?
Bardic Inspiration, this time over to Griveth.
All right. Big.
Fig is going to be following Talmud and picking up Brown on the way.
All right, so what is your movement?
30 feet.
So you also picking up your rat, you're able to make it down to right where Talmud is, with that little kind of dip down to the bottom. And now it's Griveth, who is inspired.
All right, so I'm like, she inspires me. She inspires me. If I throw javelins, I'll have what negative to hit?
It'll just be disadvantage because of range.
Okay, I'll do that. I'm going to chuck those and then head off with the rest of the team. Do I get Bardic? Is the Bardic a one-time use?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a D6 or a D8?
D6.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so with the inspiration that was a 20, my lowest roll.
Okay. Your lowest roll was a 20?
Yeah.
Okay. They both hit.
All right. Oh, I haven't rolled the second one yet.
Oh.
That was the first
because you
one,
rolled with disadvantage, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then the next one was 15. That's not a hit, right?
Nope, that's going to miss.
Okay, so one hits. And that is 7 points of damage.
All right, so you see that one of your javelins, you just see that sploop. At one of them, you see it sort of stop before it completely bloops into the water. And so you figure you probably hit the dragon with that one.
Okay.
For a dragon that's trying to stay out of the fight, you guys are doing pretty darn well against it.
That one was from Cantriel, you foul worm.
Thorgarn.
Special delivery from Cantriel.
Thorgarn, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna join the crew heading towards the island. I got a speed of 35, so I should be able to.
So you'll be able to get down in that same area with them.
Indeed.
That takes us back to the top of the order. You all, let's see. Oh, that's low enough. So, the dragon's stealth is not so great since it figures you all know where it is. You see a sudden V of water as as you all realize the dragon is rapidly moving towards you underwater. And I need to look at my map real quick because let's see. So if it goes, you guys are there. That is 5, 10, 15. Okay. You see this V form, and then you just see this tremendous as this dragon bursts out of the water. I will end all of you, especially whichever one of you is Cantriel. And that is going to be targeted towards Talmud.
Yep, that's me, Cantriel, right here.
Talmud, you need to make a dexterity saving throw as it is targeting you.
Is this a danger that I can see?
100%.
Excellent. Then I get advantage on that saving throw.
One, you've seen what it's done twice before. And two,
Right.
It is a pretty good sized black dragon that just burst out of the water.
Don't forget
Okay.
class and my bonus +3.
Oh, and the +3. Okay.
Griveth, you're not near them because you chose to throw javelins.
Yeah.
Oh, I threw it and then ran with him.
Well, then you'd only be halfway. You'd still not be within 10 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, because they double moved.
Because they
I see.
dashed to get where they are.
I am going to spend a domain die because even with advantage, both of them suck.
Okay.
Okay, that's better. All right, still not great. Let's see. Plus the bless. Oof. All right, all told, 14.
Believe it or not, that is exactly what you needed.
Thank you very much for the bless. Even though it was 1 point, Scotty, that was what did it.
So you are going to take half of 16, 20, 29, 35, 41, 45. So 22 points of acid damage.
Yummy.
But it is also your turn, and the black dragon is 15 feet away from you, fully exposed up above the water because he used all of his movement to get into that position.
How far can I make it with a standing long jump?
Half of whatever your strength score is.
So 9.
Yes. So you'd make it just a little over halfway to him if you took a leap at him.
Do I have room to back up and run?
Because of where you are, I'm going to say yeah. You're
Okay.
up against that because of where it dipped down. You're kind of, there's like a full tile, but part of one and part of another one. So if you're up against the wall, you've got enough room. You could get 10 feet and just leap off the edge at him.
All right. So Talmud turns.
And even
moves
if
to
it
the
was
wall.
only 5 feet, I'd allow it because it's a pretty baller move.
I appreciate that. All right. Talmud turns, backs up to the wall, and his auntie calls out, "Everyone step behind me. This beast is mine." And he's going to run and jump off of the ledge with Gerta raised above his head. I am going to spend domain dice for a super critical.
Oh, the first time. Well, first you have to hit.
Okay.
It has to hit first.
It's got to hit. All right.
Then you can spend the 5 dice to turn it into a super crit.
Fine. I'm going to play dirty, and I'm going to reckless attack. so I have advantage. And I've got Griveth's Bless as well. I'm going to throw that on there. Goodness gracious. Come on now.
Did you use the Bardic Inspiration yet that I gave you earlier?
Did you give that to me?
Did I give it to Oh, no, I gave it to Griveth. Never mind.
Yeah, you've inspired Fig and Griveth.
I'm going to spend another domain die.
All right. So this is, I assume you missed?
Yeah, with a 4, I'm sure.
All right.
Okay, so that's much better. That's going to be 15 and 7, 22.
That is going to hit. So we are going to turn this plus 40 into a plus 35. And then Cajun Kevin is going to make sure that you get that one you had to spend for the miss, you get it back. If I hit the right button here.
Thank you so much.
So here's what happened, because this is the first time this has ever happened. The way I do criticals is automatic max damage, then whatever dice you would normally roll, you roll again. However, a Patron's Blessing plus 5, or rather 5 domain dice, is a super crit, which is automatic double max damage. You don't even need to roll dice. You just take whatever your attacks are, maximize it, multiply it by 2, and tell me how badass that number is.
That's with modifiers and everything.
Yep. So add all of your dice and modifiers,
right,
max numbers, and then double it.
So max damage with Gerta is 18. So that's 36 points of bludgeoning damage.
Hold on. And another domain dice. You guys are nowhere near running out of these, but the audience chat does not want you to even come close to running out of these things. All right. Hold on. This math is giving me pause. That was how much? 36?
Correct.
Why does this not? Hold on. I have to actually write this out because I'm screwing it up. There we go. That's what was throwing me off. Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. Holy. What does this look like? This is, you have full narrative control. You don't kill the dragon, but what does this look like as you draw on whatever forces to hit Gerta just right in this hovering dragon?
So this dragon had just reared up out of the water and breathed directly at Talmud. And Talmud kind of falls back to the wall and then runs and jumps basically straight through, like where this stream was of acid was still coming out of this dragon's mouth. And Gerta comes around and downward, and all of these dwarven spirits, you can see their hands kind of like reach up and grab a hold of the head of Gerta, the back of it, and slam this Maul's head on the dragon's snout, and a tooth actually comes flying out of the dragon's mouth. This big fang that's probably 7-8 inches long breaks free and splashes off in the water nearby. I do technically have a second attack, but I don't know how that works with the super critical and all. So
super critical. It's, so I'm going to rule it as this. Everything happened exactly as you said it. And right now, you are still airborne, just coming down from the apex of your leap. So you can attack one more time, but you are going to land in the water.
That's fine with me. I was reckless attacking, so I still have advantage on it currently. Okay, so in the bless, yes. 29 to hit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a hit.
So 9 and 6 more is 15 more points.
You actually knock scales off. Like, you all see on as he does this just amazing attack, and you see the fang that goes flying. On his way down, he swings Gerta around again, and as it strikes into right where the scales kind of meet the segmented chest of this dragon, you see about a dozen scales shatter away from the dragon, which you can already see literally shatter marks across its scales where Cantriel has been affecting it. This dragon is in bad shape. In fact, Cantriel's spells, Fig's fireball, everything that's happening, this thing has holes in its wings. You can assume, based on the amount of damage you guys have done, that you have done this damage to this foul worm. And because you and it act at the same time and it burned all of its speed and action on its attack against you, it is now Brown Gnaw's turn. And I'm going to laugh my ass off if the rat does the killing blow. That would be so funny.
I can almost imagine Brown Gnaw's in Fig's hand, and he's going to jump out, rear back, open his mouth, and this lightning comes across in this cone.
With Talmud in the water. Awesome.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so
Absolutely
the lightning is a cone, and everything in the cone has to make a dex save?
Yes.
So Talmud will need to make a dex save.
Can I see this danger coming?
I would say, I mean, you're a warrior, so I would say yeah. So you and the dragon making dex saves. That is a 17 on the die. So that's a 22 for the dragon.
I'm going to get you to re-roll that.
All right, on the re-roll, that is an 11 on the die for a 16 total.
I am confused. Is it my dex or
It's your spell save DC.
it's my spell save DC?
Yes, because you're casting a spell through the rat. Isn't that what's happening?
No, it's just a one willing creature. It's just one willing creature that I touch. And it does this. It can take its action to do that. So I'm not sure then.
It's still going to be off of your saving throw.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, my thing is still a 16, so I think it still passes.
Yes,
I don't even know.
It just made it. But it's still going to take half damage.
Yes. Yep. All right. That is... Oh my God, Hannibal. I swear to God.
I'm glad it's not just mine.
For those that don't know, Hannibal is her cat.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, he's trying to...
Lest somebody think you name your dice. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but what did you roll?
18.
18 so total?
9?
So 9. Okay. Which means, what did you get on your save, Talmud?
21.
So you also take 9 points of electrical damage.
9.
And you are also currently in the water, unable to touch the bottom. Anything else there, Brown Gnaw? Cantriel.
How's that dragon looking?
Very, very bad.
All right. Cantriel's going to raise her brow and reach into her quiver. And she pulls out this arrow that starts gleaming with a fiery glow at the tip of the arrow. I have them, they're mine! So yeah, she's going to be using this lovely magical fire arrow.
Oh, and I should mention that the patron saint of all domain dice has just arrived.
Yay!
And blessed you all with 2 more domain dice.
All right. Well, let's see if I hit the dragon first. Okay, so that is, where did my math go? Well, that's actually a dirty 20, not a 20-20, but a dirty 20.
Yes, that is a hit.
That is a hit. Okay, so then doing my fire damage and piercing, that's going to be a 10.
10 total damage?
Yeah.
All right, let me check something. Wow. Okay. He's still up. But I mean, there's literally this dragon is, you know, when somebody's just getting beat senseless and they're drooling, but you see acid just dripping from its maw. You see blood leaking down it. Scales are practically just flaking off of it. Parts of its wings are in tatters. If that's the end of your turn, Cantriel, then Fig, you are up.
Yeah. Oh, wait, can I give Fig inspiration? My last inspiration?
You absolutely
Oh, wait, no,
can.
I'm out. Actually, no. Nope, sorry, I'm out. Sorry. I'm
Nope,
out.
then you cannot. Fig.
Fig is going to take some of the dirt from the ground. He's going to set it. He's going to cast it up into the air. And he is going to want to cast this so that it is, if he will allow it, he wants to cast sleep, but he wants to put it in an area effect that does not affect Talmud in the water. But I assume the dragon up towering is higher than Talmud, or is that not?
Yes, this dragon is a large dragon. So you would be able absolutely to do that.
Okay. And he's going to cast it at a 3rd level spell. So that is going to be a total of 98. I think that's okay. I'm gonna need to have a dice roller for that because I only have 1d8 and I don't think you guys will sit around. So that is going to be 44.
All right, I have to do some math real quick. So you throw this dust up into the air. And the dragon, which you can feel its wing beats, but it's sort of kind of quick. It's trying to hold itself aloft, and it's got this broken tooth. It's drooling acid, and it's trying to draw breath in. You can almost sense that it's trying to activate its acid breath. And as you throw this ass with an unfortunate pause, as you throw this dust into the air, you see it's taking an inhale. And you see its wings. And it sort of holds its wings out like this, and it just and settles into the water, and it's struggling to keep its head up, and its head comes down against its will as the dragon falls asleep. Unfortunately, I need Talmud to make a dexterity saving throw because the dragon is coming down on top of him.
Is this danger that I can see?
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right, plus the bless.
And you have just been blessed by the patron saint of dice for another 2 more.
Yes. Thank you. All right. That is an 18 total.
Talmud, you just instinctively are able to push yourself away from the dragon as its entire weight settles in. And as you push back, you kind of do this little, almost like body surf from the wave, and you're pushed back against the shore where your friends are. Remind me how long the sleep effect lasts? I know if it takes any damage, it wakes up. Is it just the 1 minute?
Yep.
All right. So if is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Griveth, the dragon, has fallen asleep in the water because of Fig. It is in really bad shape. What are you going to do?
So is it like, how close is it to the shore?
I'm going to say because of its size and the way it kind of collapsed into the water, it is 5 to 8 feet away. We'll call it 5 for mechanical reasons. So it's pretty much right there. Like anybody could leap over to it or probably reach out and hit it.
Okay. All right. While the beast is asleep, I'm going to turn to the party and say, do we want to finish this thing or do we want to make a deal with it?
Kill it.
Okay.
Kill it.
All right.
If you don't, dearie, I will.
I can't refuse Aunt. What's your aunt's name?
Tildane.
Kildane?
Till.
That's close. Tildane.
Okay. That's what he thought you said. Okay. I can't refuse Aunt Kildane. So he unsheaths Bradford's honor. And so that would be with advantage, right?
Yes.
Okay. Or can I just do a coup de grace?
One second.
Coup de gracie.
All right.
I had a player that used to call it a coup de grace. Oh boy.
So there's not technically a coup de grace in 5th edition, but because it is unconscious, any attack against it is automatically a crit.
Oh, okay.
And attack rolls have advantage there, right?
And attack rolls have advantage. So all you got to do is hit it and you crit it.
I can do that, right?
Hit it and crit it.
I just jinxed myself. All right. Ooh, okay. The first one is a 27. I think that's definitely a hit.
Just going to hit it. So that's a crit.
The second one is a 23.
The second one will not be an auto crit because the first one is going to wake it up.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
roll
crit,
that. So you do crit. So that's automatic max damage. Then roll damage dice and add that to it.
Okay. 17 points of damage for the first hit, the crit.
Okay.
And I'm going to lay some smite on the second hit. That's what I'm talking about. $25 points of damage.
Griveth, the Knight of Smite. How do you want to end this?
All right. I say... I say... Nobody puts my Cantriel in a corner, and I... As I smack it with the first blow, it's almost it's a wake up, and it's like the first blow, the crit blow. I like actually take its eye out. The eye is nearest me, and I'm like, actually wanted it to wake up because I wanted to say that to it. And when it lumbers its head up and stirs, I just take Sir Bradford's honor and just right through the center of the skull, just hits the center of the skull. Sparks are flying from the magic of the sword and the scraping the tough scales of the dragon. And I mean, I bury it down to the hilt, right into the head, and then pull the thing out, and just kind of a trail of blood, trail of black foul dragon blood just kind of splatters as I pull it out. So the treasure is yours, my friend Talmud.
As you withdraw Sir Bradford's honor, its one eye rolls around and seems to look at all of you, and you hear one last time. You hear it as it slips under the water. Cantriel.
She'd like waggle the fingers. That would be me.
So
it slips dead under the water.
Having felt practically useless the entire battle because I didn't do anything to it. I'm sticking to what I had planned about 10 minutes ago when I rolled this. So following Talmud's jump out on it, whoa. I don't care.
Hold on, sorry, I bumped the button. Apparently game over. I just bumped the button.
So I leap out there, I rage, I bring both my weapons down onto it. Doesn't matter how much damage I do, but I'm burying my weapons into this thing's back as as Griveth is pulling his blade out of the thing that he killed.
Thorgarn, it's already dead. It's all right.
Thorgarn, you sort of ride it under as it goes under the water, and there's a moment where you are kind of like up to your chest, and then you feel it slip away under your feet.
So, yeah. I'll wade back to shore or swim back to the shore.
All right. You have defeated the dragon. The Island of Treasure is open. I assume you guys are all going to go to the Island of Treasure.
Absolutely. I assume we also have to look for Cantriel.
Yes, but I'd be like beelining it towards Mom.
Cantriel, I am your humble champion.
She doesn't even she's like, it's
already
Mom.
gone. She's already
so you make your way to the island. Cantriel, getting there before the others. You see the form of your mother as the closer you get, the less visible she is. She holds her hand out to you, stretching outward. Cantriel. And barely visible as you step onto the island. She reaches, and you get almost like a tingly sensation, but it's more because you want to feel her touch, but you don't feel her touch as she reaches out to stroke your cheek. My daughter. You have found me. And then she turns. And she looks down and points. This is what I am now. Take me, and I will keep you safe. As you look at where she is pointing, you see, half submerged in gold and silver coins, the form of a flawless elven bow, gleaming, untarnished, virtually sparkling with magical energy. And now you hear your mother's voice from the bow. I will now be with you as we search for your father and your siblings. I will be your oath bow. And that's where we're going to end. We'll do a quick little bit of bookkeeping here, but for all intents and purposes, or not for all intents and purposes, what actually just happened is Cantriel, you have just found your mother. Her spirit has been somehow locked into a sentient weapon. So mechanically, you can look up in the DMG oath bow, but I'm going to make some tweaks to it because this is not, I was going to say, this is not your mother's oath bow, but this literally is
this
your
is your mother's
the
oath bow. It's my mother as the oath bow.
So it is a twist on the oath bow, but you have found your mother, who is somehow now a sentient weapon. Also, all of you find, so whoever the bookkeeper is, you're going to want to write this down. And thank you to everybody who stuck around, and to you guys. I did not want to leave this dragon fight on a cliffhanger. Honestly, I wasn't sure you guys were going to be able to do so much damage. I wasn't pulling any punches, but I thought he was going to get in another shot and have time to take off and try to save himself. But for the record, Griveth, if you had gotten just 5 points less on that last attack, you would not have killed him.
I had 24 points of damage ready to go.
But yeah, that's true. Thorgarn would have taken care of it. So, in addition to Cantriel's mother, the bow, you all find 6,200 silver pieces, 1,430 gold pieces, 2 garnets worth 20 gold pieces each, a black pearl worth 50 gold pieces, a wand of magic missiles.
Any chance there's a pearl that's worth 100 gold in there?
Well, you got a 50 gold piece black pearl. You find a great axe bearing Durgadin's smith mark. This great axe is flawless. It is a +2 magical great axe. You also find a shield magically imbued. It is a +1 shield. You find a potion of greater healing and a potion of flying. And the dwarves are able to ascertain that this dragon, though you never did learn its name, had over the years had plundered the halls of Kundrakar, and when it had taken up residence here, had been hoarding the treasure here. You get the sense that Durgadin and the rest of his clan had started to clear this area out, possibly trying to create some sort of an exit, though nothing was ever finished. And in the wake of their being overrun by the orcs, somewhere in that time in the last 100 years, the dragon took up residence. So, hopefully somebody wrote down all that treasure, but if you didn't, you can ask me about it later. V, I will get with you in the interim between now and next week to learn you about your Mother of the Bow. It had the impact I wanted based on your reaction when you realized what was going on. And then we will return next week to see what the heck you guys are going to do now that you've apparently gotten down to the bottom, and realizing there's still quite a bit of the dwarven ruins that you haven't explored. Plus, there's still those orcs that Thorgarn is determined to take care of. So, I want to say,
at this point in time, I mean, it's we the idea was to go get money. We just found a whole bunch of money.
You did find a lot of money,
honey. You got a lot of money.
But
And,
at the same time, we did accept a mission because they kind of killed townsfolk, and we need we need revenge.
And there is that, you guys have now found a total of 3 of Durganon's, or 2 of Durganon's marked weapons. There is that dude that Cantriel knows about that's willing to purchase Durganon weapons. Yeah. At any rate, first off, I want to say a tremendous thank you to Griveth. Nope. To Scotty. To Scotty, Megan, Ted, Jeremy, and V. As always, thank you guys so much for making this game so fun, for making Thursdays so awesome, and for allowing me to let that last fight go on for a longer session. We do have these once in a while. Sometimes we have short sessions. But this one was definitely worth the longer session, I think. The payoff was worth it. And speaking of payoff, I want to throw just an extra special shout out of love and thank you to my audience, our audience. You guys are the best. You show up every week, you cheer these guys on, and in like tonight, you literally cheer them on, keep them flush in the domain dice. And I love it. I love rolling a crit, but I also love that you provide a way for the players to say, you know what? No, not today. And special shout out to Jeremy for the play of the game with the first ever Patron's Blessing, that super crit on the dragon. That was epic. And just thank you to the chat in general. You guys are so awesome. I did apologize in the chat. I'm sorry for those that had to put up with the nonsense that was going on in there. I only saw, when it was brought to my attention, I saw a couple comments, and it was enough to go banhammer. So I guess that means we're gaining popularity if we're drawing trolls. So, so with that, just you all are awesome. Just everybody. We just love you so much. This is, we've said it time and time again. This is part of what makes this game so special, is that we feel like we're sharing the table with all of you in the chat. You are a part of this game. It's like when you give domain dice, it's like when somebody rolls crappy, you're like, no, put that in dice jail. Here, use this one. And you grant magical dice to everybody. So thank you so much for that. So with that, we are going to go ahead and end here. We'll be back next Thursday. In the meantime, you can also tune in, I think, Sunday night for our Cult of Personality Tomb of Annihilation game, which will be episode 42 with Megan and myself and also a few others. And then on Monday, we will return with All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist, also with Megan and a few others and myself. And then, of course, next Thursday, this whole gang here will be back doing it again for episode 10 of the Forge of Fury, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to call that one. And we get to find out just what the heck. Hopefully, we'll see what's going on with Cantriel and her mom, the magical bow. So we are now going to end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want. Metadata.